Army units free Al-Ikhbariya crew from the grip of armed terrorist groups. Information Ministry and journalists express gratitude for the Army in freeing Al-Ikhbariya team. Army units continue to chase terrorists in Aleppo, killing and wounding several of them. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our news for today. The qualitative operation carried out by our armed forces in freeing Al-Ikhbariya kidnapped journalists Yara Saleh, Abdullah Tabra and Hussam Imad has pleased the hearts of all national news media men who face killing and threats armed only with their free, honest words.
In a qualitative operation, our armed forces today freed a team of the Syrian Al-Akhbariya satellite TV channel who were kidnapped by an armed terrorist group 7 days ago in the Tel area in Damascus countryside. The released colleagues are Yara Saleh, Abdullah Tabaraya, and Hussam Imad. A number of journalists and workers at the Syrian TV channels gathered early today to receive the freed journalists, stressing that the Syrian media will remain stronger than the terrorism and the terrorists, and the word of right will always be high. The Minister of Information, Amran al-Zarbi, was among the first to congratulate the released journalists over their safety. The freed TV journalist Yara Saleh said in a statement to the Syrian TV that the Syrian media is the target in the war on Syria because it is the torch of truth which the enemies want to destroy.
I wish all the team was released with all its members, but with their criminality and terrorism they killed our colleague Hatem Abu Yahya in a very ugly way, which reflected their reality. Hatem has joined the martyrs of the homeland. May God bless their innocent souls. The first moments of the kidnapping were very hard because we were in the hands of people who lacked mercy and all humanitarian feelings. Their main concern is to commit crimes, terrorize people.
On his part, the cameraman Abdullah said that those who kidnapped the team had a criminal nature. He pointed out that there was nothing Syrian about them. A Syrian has manners and loyalty to the homeland, he added. On his part, the driver, Hussam Imad, said that the armed terrorist groups who kidnapped them interrogated them and tortured them, beating them with sticks or using electricity. He added that with the determination and the strong will of the Syrian army, the team is now free from the criminal gangs.
The Ministry of Information has expressed in a statement the gratitude of all news media men, journalists and workers in Syrian Arab news media institutions to the Syrian Arab Army for the big efforts and sacrifices in freeing the kidnapped Syrian Al-Ikhbariya channel's team. The ministry stressed that the soul of martyr Hatem Abu Yahya, who was among the 4-member team kidnapped, will remain a torch that lights up their path in conveying facts and reality far from falsification and distortion. The ministry added that the national media will remain the fortress of right, credibility and transparency and will never be intimidated by terrorism, whether sponsored by states or gangs, stressing that victory is definitely imminent. The Journalists Union also congratulated all news media on freeing Al-Ikhbariya team from the grip of the terrorists. The union greeted the heroism of the Syrian Arab Army, who has exerted utmost efforts for the protection of the people and the freedom of the homeland. It prayed to God to bless the soul of martyr Hatem Abu Yahya and all news media martyrs. Army units continued to chase remnants of armed terrorists in different areas of Aleppo. The security authorities repelled an armed terrorist group which tried to enter Asaba Bahrat area from Al-Atma Souq in the city of Aleppo. The authorities clashed with the group, killing and wounding a number of them. Units of the armed forces carried out an operation in Al-Marja neighborhood in the area of Bab al-Nayrab in the city. SANA reporter quoted a source in the province as saying that the operation resulted in the death and injury of a number of terrorists. Meanwhile, engineering units dismantled an explosive device planted by an armed group near a mosque in El Meridian area in Aleppo. The device weighed 40 kilograms. UN Under-Secretary for Humanitarian Affairs Valerie Amos has called on all sides in Syria to exert more efforts to protect the civilians who are living in public buildings and in schools in Damascus, which are to open their doors next month. In a press conference at the conclusion of her visit to Syria, Amos referred to the great impact the crisis has on the economy. She said that during her visits to the displaced, she found those families were in need of further assistance. Amos added that the humanitarian aid presented by the UN and its partners were not sufficient. She referred to the presence of 8 international humanitarian organizations working on Syrian territories with the Syrian government's permission. Amos said the discussion with the Syrian government revolved on several issues, including increasing the assets of UN organizations on the ground and the measures taken by the government to meet citizens' needs and rehabilitate the infrastructure. Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad stressed that colonial powers cannot be an example to be followed by Islamic states. Ahmadinejad said in a speech before the Islamic Summit in Mecca that it is illogical that such powers would teach us the lessons of freedom and justice, especially as they are the birthplace of injustice and dictatorship. The Iranian president considered that the enemy has seized the opportunity to deal a blow to Islamic states to deprive them of any chance of development and prosperity. Iranian Foreign Minister Ali Akbar Salehi stressed that the decision on suspending Syria's membership of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation is an unfair move, which contradicts the organization's charter. In a statement to the Iranian news agency, Salehi said that Iran has opposed the suspension of Syria's membership of the organization because it contradicts its charter, stressing that it was supposed to invite the Syrian government to attend the meeting and for the member states to listen to its official stance before such a decision could be taken. The Iranian foreign minister reiterated that Syria should have been invited to the meeting so as to propose a mechanism with the Syrian government and opposition to help get Syria out of the crisis and solve the problems it is currently suffering from. Lebanon's Commission of Islamic Scholars has strongly denounced the Islamic Cooperation Organization's decision to suspend Syria's membership, as the same organization keeps silent towards events in occupied Palestine and Jerusalem. The Commission said in a statement that Jerusalem is now mourning at the injustice of the Arab rulers who gathered in the Islamic Cooperation Organization's conference in Mecca not to defend Jerusalem and the Palestinian cause, but to suspend the membership of Syria, who defends occupied Jerusalem and every inch of Palestine. The Commission added that the World Day of Jerusalem anniversary occurs now at a bad time for the Arab and Islamic world, a time when the criminal Muslim Brotherhood was given access to power by the USA, provided it abandons Jerusalem and all Palestine. Maronite Patriarch Bashar al-Ra'i has called on the world community to exert every effort to find an appropriate political solution to the crisis in Syria through dialogue and reconciliation. During his visit to the province of Akkar today, Patriarch al-Ra'i said he joined the people's call for exerting all efforts to establish peace in Syria through dialogue with a view of finding an appropriate political solution to the crisis. Finally, Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister Gennady Gatilov said that the withdrawal of the UN from Syria threatens the entire region and may leave negative repercussions. During his meeting with the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman, Gatilov underlined the importance of preserving the UN presence in the country. He stressed the need that all Syrian parties and foreign players implement the Security Council resolution and the decisions included in the final document of the Action Group meeting on Syria. Gatilov said it is important to activate the work of this group with the aim of coordinating steps to launch a political settlement to the crisis in Syria. With this, we conclude our news bulletin for today. For more information about Syria and the region, you can visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Up next, the latest business and market news with Khalid after the break.